Welcome back to Living Local on this Furry Friends Friday, where we introduce you to an adoptable animal and offer pet care tips. Today we're focusing on the routine but vital steps every pet owner needs to take care of when caring for the well-being of their animal. Joining us in studio once again is Rochelle Dougal with King's Harvest Pet Rescue. Always great to have you in studio, Rochelle.
Thank you. We're always glad to be here.
So who did you bring in with you today?
Okay, so I wanted to surprise you with Gabby.
It was a wonderful surprise.
Yeah, she is the best. She's a female 9-year-old Yorkshire Terrier, so Yorkie.
Yorkie. I love the Yorkies, and she just seems like she has a wonderful personality. What would be a great home fit for Gabby?
Yeah, so she really could go to any home. She is tolerant of cats, but I think she would chase them a bit too much for their own comfort. So maybe a home with no cats, but she does great with children, people of all ages. So she kind of has a wide open range of many different homes that she could go into.
Now, Rochelle, oftentimes we've seen older dogs like Gabby here, who's about 9 years old. They tend to stick around the shelter because people don't want to adopt these senior animals. Why would you encourage people out there to give a pet like Gabby a try?
Sure. So I do think that the misconception is that a lot of times they can have more health issues. Unless you hear that from a veterinarian or from a shelter who has them pre-vetted, Gabby has none. We're going to go ahead and do a dental on her, and there'd be no reason that they should have to incur any other cost because of her age. I would always encourage people to adopt an older dog because they're a lot less maintenance. They're usually pretty potty trained. They usually know how to behave on a leash. Most of them know their basic commands. They have a lot less of that learning curve when you first get them into the home, and they've already been in routines in a different home usually, so they kind of will know the drill and pick up everything a lot quicker. It's going to be a lot easier a transition into the home. So I would always adopt a senior.
Those are some great points there. And actually today we're talking about pet maintenance. That's our focus. So what do pet owners need to know about city pet licensing? We're going to cover a lot of factors today.
Yeah. So we just want to make sure that, you know, we're doing all the routine stuff that our pets should have, and city licensing is one of them. You can go to your local city humane society or animal control. So it'd be Scott County Humane Society, Rock Island Animal Care and Control. Stop by their facility. You get them updated on their licensing. They have to have a valid rabies, and it is a little bit cheaper if they are spayed or neutered as well. And it usually runs 10, 15, 25 bucks at most.
Perfect. Now, how many pets are actually allowed in each household in Scott County? I did not know this, actually.
Yeah. So let me tell you, you're good with Wendy.
Okay, at least I can have one.
Yes. So in Scott County, you're allowed up to 4 pets in a home. You just cannot have 4 of the same kind. So you must have, 3 dogs and a cat, 3 cats and a dog, not 4 dogs and 4 cats.
I did not know that. Thank you so much for clearing that up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's talk about microchipping. How can pet owners stay on top of this, and why is it so important?
Right, so I mean, a microchip is great. It's one of these great technologies that we have now for pets, and it's implanted into the back of their neck here. It stays in them, and when the chip is scanned, it is connected to a number. That number is connected to your information if your pet gets out. But that microchip is rendered useless if the information is not kept up to date. So if you move, if your phone number changes, if you get married, update it.
Right.
That's the most important thing, is that all of that information connected to that chip is kept up to date.
Definitely refresh that information, because you're right. There's really no point unless you're going to stay on top of that. Now let's talk about annual vaccines.
Sure.
What are the ones that are absolutely imperative for every pet owner to make sure that their animal has?
So rabies is the one that you have to have. Rabies is the one that legally your animal must have one, whether or not they go outside often. If you have inside cats, they still need to have a rabies. You know, if a bat gets inside the house, they're open to that sort of disease, and it's basically fatal for anybody who can get it. So rabies is the #1. That's an annual shot. You can also get a 3-year rabies shot. If you get it before the first one expires, you can go 3-year, and that's valid across different state lines as well. Distemper is another one that animals should have. Distemper can come from small rodents and things like that. So, you know, if your dog, little Yorkies love to chase little squirrels, if she were to get a hold of one, a distemper is going to be really good to protect her from that. Cats as well for distemper and rabies. And then the extra one for dogs, I would say, is Bordetella.
Right.
If they go to PetSmart, if you take your dog to the dog park, if you take them around any other pets, if they get their mouth on a ball at PetSmart that another sick dog maybe might have mouthed up as well, that's how easy the kennel cough is spread. So that is a prevention for kennel cough. If you're boarding them, usually the facilities will, you have to have them.
That's right.
But it's just a good protective measure for any dog that is going around any other dogs, is that Bordetella vaccine.
Bordetella, distemper, rabies, make sure to get them all knocked out every single year.
Yep.
Also, let's talk about flea and tick prevention. How can pet owners stay on top of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a million different kinds of flea and tick prevention. The most important thing that I think when it comes to flea and tick prevention is that you get it from your vet. I've heard that our vet tech has explained to me, and many veterinarians also, that the stuff that you get at Walmart or a grocery store is still different from what you get from your vet, even if it is the same brand. It can be a different ingredients, different chemicals in there, even if it's the same manufacturer. So always get from your vet. And if you purchase in bulk, if you get an annual amount, 12 doses, you'll get it for cheaper. Yeah, so always get from your vet and just do what's right for you. If you can't remember the monthly topical, they have a 3-month. They have chewables as well if your pet likes treats.
Oh, Gabby, I cannot get enough of you. Last but not least, heartworm prevention.
Sure. So I did want to leave this one for last because I do think that it is not common knowledge, and it is really, really, it can be fatal. It's really important that you're preventing your dogs from getting heartworms rather than having to treat the heartworms. It's similar as the flea and tick treatment, where you have monthly chewables or topicals, and heartworm comes from mosquitoes. So even if your pet doesn't go outside, there can be mosquitoes inside. It's more important that you're treating for heartworm during the summer months here because it's cold in the winter, hence usually no mosquitoes. But it's always recommended that you keep your dog on heartworm prevention and cat year round. And it is 10 times the cost of the prevention for the treatment. So it's so much more expensive to treat it. It's also really risky to treat for heartworms.
No kidding. You don't want your animal to go through that anyway.
No, they could really suffer just from the treatment. So why not just prevent it, take care of it that way, and then you never have to worry about that.
Definitely. Well, Rochelle, thank you so much for all the pet maintenance tips today and for introducing us to Gabby here. She is such a sweet little girl, and she is up for adoption, you guys. If you would like some more information, you can visit kingsharvestpetrescue.org. You can also find these details at ourquadcities.com.